Welcome to Daily Revelations, everyone. So we are continuing with the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. Actually, we're finishing them today. Today is our last day in Deuteronomy, and it is when the Bible basically talks about Moses' death. But there's some really important things in there that, as I was reading through it this morning, that popped out, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. We don't like to talk about people dying, and because you feel like it's the end, but yet it's just the beginning. And with Moses, there was a lot of things that he was not able to accomplish in his life, if you looked at it from the worldly point of view. God took him up to the mountain right before he died and said, see, this is the whole promised land, and you're not going in it. But he let him see it. And later on, when you read the New Testament, Moses was in the promised land. When he and Elijah came down to visit with Jesus, guess where they were? They were in the promised land. So Moses does get to go to the promised land. It's just not in his earthly body. So, or the body that he was given first. So he died, and he didn't get the reward that you would think he should have gotten. You know, we often do things thinking that we do them because we'll be rewarded. Well, if we do things for God, we'll be blessed. God doesn't work that way. Yes, he does bless our lives for obedience in general, but it's not like you do this, I'll reward you this way. And it's a back and forth type of thing, like you build a chore chart for your kids or a reward thing, and when they get enough stars, then they get this reward. It's about something bigger than that. And when we do that for our kids, we don't do it because we want them to get stuck on a reward system. We want to do that because we want to see them to see over time, as they're doing these things, that there's something more involved with this process instead of just doing the job and getting the reward. There's some kind of internal satisfaction that you get when you accomplish something and it's done well. And there's also this relationship that is built between you and your child and the other people that they interact with that eventually, you would hope, would spur them on to do those things on their own, not because they're getting stars or getting rewards, but because of something bigger. And that's what God does when he works in our lives. It says that the Lord knew Moses face to face. And yes, he performed signs and wonders and mighty powers, but it wasn't because he said, this is what I'm going to do for you, Moses, and then I'll give you this treat after you do it. It's like a dog training. No, it wasn't like that. Oftentimes after Moses did these things for God, he moved closer to God. But the people grumbled. There was a lot of things that he was dealing with, and externally, it wasn't that rewarding at all. Yet, it says that in comparison, there was no other prophet in Israel ever that compares to Moses until Jesus came. And yet, God didn't give him this reward that we think he should have gotten. But it does say that also no one equaled in knowing the Lord face to face like Moses did. And that was where Moses focused his attention, was on knowing God and sinking into God and just pouring into that relationship and allowing that relationship to bless him with something more than a physical reward or something that the world would say, ooh, that's something that God really blessed you with. And so as we think about that, what is it we're striving for? Why are we striving for it? Is there something more that we should be focused on? Because if we're looking just for worldly rewards, life is not going to measure up that well over time. Things are going to be hard because God is working on us inside. He wants us to draw closer to him. And he does things in our lives that kind of feel yucky and not so nice because of that desire for him to be closer to us. It's a greater reward. So yes, there are times when we're going to be blessed with material, physical things. God gets us on that star chart to get us going. And as you walk with God more, you'll realize that he starts to pull those things away and asks, will you still draw near to me, even if those things aren't there? And there's times of testing. When Christians talk about, I was tested by the Lord, it's like he pulls a reward chart from underneath you and says, will you keep doing what you were doing, even when the rewards aren't there? And that's tough, because you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I doing this just because I want to have a happy, successful life? Jesus didn't promise that. He said, things will be tough. You will be persecuted. It's not going to be good, but I will be with you. I'll be with you to the end of the age. And that's what it's about. So thanks for joining me on Daily Revelations, everyone. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.